actually planning to be a part of the season. And, we actually wanted to show how we were navigating our marriage issues. And because we know a lot of people can relate to that, we did our initial production meeting, had a house together, kids' hair laid, glam on standby, all of that. But the main reason we didn't start filming was because of contract issues. So God works in mysterious ways, because how convenient was it that this whole divorce narrative was put out there? But the fact that Chris and I, even to this day, we never even started filming and nobody knew. That wasn't leaked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just makes me wonder who leaked that narrative. But anyway, the only reason that there was even speculation, like you said, is because they saw this trailer and they were like, wait, where y'all at? So yes, it is true. Chris and I will not be returning.
Okay.
At this point, I think we're done with reality TV. Honestly, I'm just at a place in my life where I will never again allow myself to be devalued. The contract has to make sense for me. And when I'm filming, I'm giving my all. So if you want all of me, you got to make sure that paperwork is straight.
Absolutely.
So, no hard feelings. Business is business, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. But as always, the show will go on. So shout out to the Tylers and the Silvers. They're going to hold it down. So make sure y'all watch Love and Marriage DC this January. Continue to support them. They are DMV. They are local. They are doing their thing. I love them. But yes, Chris and I, the Samuels, we will not be back.
Wow. So no more reality TV.
No, I think I'm done. I think I'm good. It takes a lot of bravery to be able to put yourself back out there after you've done it before. But then you also have to be smart about it and just know when it's like, you know what, maybe this isn't for us anymore. I'm in a different space in life. And, like I said, business is business. That paperwork got to be straight. And it was cricket. So I said, I'm out.
I know that's right. Well, if you want to keep up with Monique, you just got to turn them radios up now.
Listen, and catch the real Monique here,
right,
always.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. And I love y'all. Good morning show. I love y'all.
Yeah, the real petty Monique. And another thing, too.
Yeah, and the troll Todd B. That's who he is.
But another thing, too, I think is good, too, is that you all have been hanging out, like you and some of the cast members. So it's all good. If people want to have any speculation about how y'all are doing it, no, all you got to do is follow the Instagram. Y'all are hanging out, partying with each other. Y'all just celebrated Tasha's birthday. So it's all good.
Yep. And I actually saw Carlos King at Portia's wedding at the Nigerian ceremony, and I was able to see him, and me and him have talked, and it is what it is. So there's no hard feelings, and I have nothing negative to say about anybody. It's just, it is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you for the tea.
Right. There you have it. There you.
All right. Let's talk about this couple right here. Why should you care about this story? It's about marriage, right? That's why you should care about. And it's about monitoring spirits when it comes to marriage. Do you know what monitoring spirits are? You know what the online in-laws are? Okay. Everybody has some kind of weird stake in your situation. If you do end up in a good situation, they do, right? They do, especially if you're a public figure, especially if you're known, especially if a sector of the market feels like you're the couple, what is it? Couple goals, right? So you have to be aware of this kind of stuff, okay? Now, my wife and I, we actually watched this show. We watched the original one, which is Love and Marriage Huntsville. For obvious reasons. It's about marriage for the most part, right? And then this one started as, like a franchise. They started the DC version of it. And this couple, apparently they were on some other reality TV shows in the past, right? But then, I pick up, like when we're watching this kind of stuff, I pick up the vibes between couples, right? Because honestly, I feel like majority of the divorce situations out there are normal people. Like people that are, I said that with Sir Hill. Shout out to Sir Hills for coming by yesterday. That was a fantastic show, right? I believe that majority of the problems when it comes to divorce are actually normal people, good people that mean well. They just don't know how to do relationships. It's tough. It's easier said than done. Anyone can sit on the internet and run their mouth without ever being in a marriage for one day ever in their life, right? And just run their mouth on what they think is supposed to be or what is not supposed to be, right? We have a lot of those situations. So they ended up on this show, and there was some kind of weird vibe between them. They yell at each other. They had that Tia and Corey Maury moment where they yelled at each other, then they came back together. And now my concern for them about that is that it's not that simple. It's not as simple as an argument between a husband and a wife. just not that simple. By the way, it's never that simple, even in a regular marriage, not involving celebrity. Because for every time you win an argument, somebody lost. And if at least one person lost, you both lost. Because there's a little bit of resentment, seed that will be sown in that moment. And if you do enough of that, yes, even as good people, because good people can argue, good people can end up in a small little debate. And if you do enough of it, you end up in divorce court. Why? Because one person is doing it, one person doesn't really see it as a big deal. It's just a debate. The other person, maybe because of the way they were raised, they're seeing it as, I get shut down all the time. You don't realize they're feeling shut down. You don't mean to shut them down. Hey, it was just a debate from like 3 months ago. Like, you still talking about that? That's usually how these things play out. But again, you don't know what kind of trauma they're mixing that up with. And then before you know it, somebody doesn't feel safe, they don't feel secure, or he doesn't feel like a man in his own home. It just turns out badly. For the most part on the internet, we only talk about the cheating. We talk about the extremes. We talk about the narcissists, right? But that's not majority of the situation, okay? It's just not. It's normal people that basically couldn't really serve each other much longer. So I want to focus on this kind of stuff. That's why I brought this story for. So I noticed their vibe. They love each other, but there's that friction. But what was making it worse is that I would tell my wife, I said, listen, all these cameras in their faces, not just a camera in the room. There's also all the producers, all these minor people behind the scenes, and everyone is trying to put up their best front. They don't want to look stupid. They also don't want to look like they're beating their spouse up. All that energy, when you combine that together, it's just bad for a typical marriage. It's just bad, okay? So if you're gonna take because they get paid a lot of money to be on these shows. It's a lot of money. I don't think it's anything less than $500,000 per season to be on these shows. So if you're gonna take your marriage or all this, go to a reality TV show because there's flashy money in your face, this lifestyle, just be ready. Because it's not gonna be about somebody's fault. It's just that there's a bunch of monitoring spirits. You're gonna be looking at people's opinion about yourself, about your couple. Even you might find yourself in a mess trying to defend your spouse on Twitter. Before you know it, it's just all falling apart. It's just a bad idea. Listen, I know it's easier said than done. It's a lot of money. $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 to be on a show just to live our life. Yeah, you really think it's as simple as that? Now, in addition to that, the producers get paid to keep those shows on the TV. What keep those shows on TV? The drama. Some kind of drama. They call it storylines, right? Now, this is your life. They're going to be creating. That's what she was talking about, that some stuff got out there, right? Well, because again, the producers are trying to keep the show on TV. So how are they going to do that without tampering with your marriage, right? So every time we started this season of Men of Prestige, right? But I always tell people, like, what do you think, like what we're looking at right now, who was filming that? Who was filming that? We need to know what was the motive behind the person that's filming that. Now, you're the actor or actress or the character of whatever we're watching. Why are you there? Why? Because of money? Right? At what expense? The expense of a home for your children, your family. So I respect this couple for gaining enough will to say, hey, you know what? I don't think it's worth it. Listen, they're losing a lot of money stepping away from these shows. Let's not get it twisted. An average person would say, you know what? F the marriage, right? They would say F the marriage, and they just like, and they're not going to say it exactly like that. See, we try to cap, like we could just be decisive. No, they're just going to be in the funk of an argument. Like, what's wrong? I didn't do anything. Before you know it, the marriage is over because somebody is prideful and the other person has unrealistic expectations, and the other person, it doesn't mean to be prideful, but they basically tame themselves trying to satisfy the other person. Now they're being taken for granted. What does that look like on the surface? Maybe somebody cheated. Maybe somebody felt disrespected. Majority of it is feeling disrespected, not necessarily the intentions of being disrespectful. You see, the way we address a lot of these issues is somebody is intending to be disrespectful. We completely disconnect from the actual reality, which is somebody felt disrespected without the intentions necessarily being there. So we have a hard time applying grace. So I keep telling you, the only thing you can be intentional about is your emotional intelligence. And I think that's what this couple just practiced. Okay? It's not about you against me. It's not no one's fault. It's not for me to blame you or shame you because you must be a modern / traditional woman on TV. It's none of that. It's like, yo, we're humans. If we're put in this kind of situation, it's unrealistic to not expect certain types of behavior. So why don't we do this? Protect ourselves, remove ourselves. So what did she do? She found a radio job. The guy was a footballer or something like that. He can find a coaching job, something too. Hopefully they'll be fine. Trust me, money is good. But money is a multiplier too, you know. It's to bring the worst out of you, right? To bring the worst out of you. So I really, really want to commend that couple for making that move. I think it's a smart move at the end of the day, you know. But yes, let me go ahead and leave that alone. Let's move on to the next story.